Hello everyone! The war within Alpha creeps ever closer, but before the madness of a new expansion unleashes, I figured it would be a good idea to do a bit of a catch-up video, as it has been a while. Talk a little bit about what's going on my side, and plans for what's coming next. While writing this, I've got a case of the sniffles, so apologies for my voice. We've just finished the Plunderstorm tournament, and my hyper-focus on preparing for it is now desperately looking for something else to sink its teeth in. We didn't reach top 10, but at least got a good match out of it. And all in all, it was great fun being able to play with Mike and be part of all of this. Even earned ourselves a Pacifist Award, which couldn't make me happier. I can't speak for Pacifist Gaming, my teammates, but me, myself, and I were very happy.
I have no idea who's going to win. This is mad.
It's me.
No.
No.
Just slicing the door.
Top 3 now, let's go!
Oh, yeah.
But the next thing on Blizzard's horizon is going to be Season 3 for Season of Discovery, which is going to come out next reset as I'm writing this. So far, I've been part of Season 1 and 2, and I've absolutely loved diving into Classic as if it was 16 again, but I'm not sure if Season 3 is where I can invest my time this time around. Not that it's not looking cool, because it absolutely does. Sunken Temple turned into a raid, a Dream event, Strengthorn Vale event updated, as well as level 50, and all the content attached to that level. It all looks pretty sick, but I'm just not sure if I've got the time to invest into it, with real life needing attention, with the channel and online things that need attention, and of course, with the war within Alpha and beyond. We don't have an official release date, nor do I even know if I'm going to be part of the alpha, but I'd be surprised if it's not going to be somewhere in the next 2 months. A new expansion for World of Warcraft, and Blizzard, they're being very smart at spreading their resources into these different game modes, spreading out their eggs over different baskets. Unofficial numbers suggest that subscription-wise, so we're talking about Classic, Season of Discovery, Retail, and soon things like Plunderstorm that are all under that umbrella, they're all offered throughout the same subscription. And number-wise, they're doing absolutely fantastic. In total, the subscriber number is way higher than I expected it to be, and I'm curious if keeping people invested and interested with different versions, if that's ultimately going to have them flow back and forth between these different game modes. That's, for me, personally, that's how I've been playing and enjoying Dragonflight. Popping in and out, do the content that I want to do, and once done, I go do something else, which has been a really nice way of playing. Instead of being on an endless grind and eventually getting bored with it, now the game is way more free. Especially considering where we came from with the Shadowlands and the Covenants, that's definitely been an improvement for me. And while I wouldn't mind a bigger time investment on retail, like they've taken away the power grinds, which is great, but they haven't done much in a way for replacing that with other content to play through. Unless you enjoy walking behind a tree for 10 minutes. At the same time, maybe this is just the way going forward. A more relaxed, lenient kind of playstyle. For what I've been told, things like Mythic Plus and raiding are in a really good spot. I personally haven't been diving too hard into that. Maybe when cross-realm guilds are going to be a thing. But it's great to hear that people are absolutely enjoying Dragonflight. All that is gameplay though, and I'm very much about the story as well. Shocking, I know, and we've had quite a bit of happening in that regard, both inside and outside of World of Warcraft. The story of the Shadowlands was not exactly a hit. I haven't been shy about my opinion on it, and it seems that even on the inside, Blizzard is aware of its failings. The jailer left us with a dire warning, but nobody on Azeroth really seems to care. The events are left behind with a small time skip, and instead we fully focused on the adventures of the Dragon Isles. That doesn't mean the entire expansion is retconned or forgotten about. There are just too many important events that happened that you can't just throw away, like Tyrande, the Night Warrior arc, and the Night Elves World Tree Saga, or Anduin's Trauma, the main feature they used for the War Within announcement trailer. The Shadowlands is part of Warcraft's lore, and it's going to be interesting to see how they're going to make that fit in. We've got Warcraft Chronicles Volume 4 coming out in July, which should tell us how it's going to fit. I'm really curious what they got in mind, because the previous 3 volumes, they've been written off as a point of view for the Titans. My expectation, especially looking at other content that they've released lately, like the Dragonflight Codex or the Grimoire of the Shadowlands, is that we're going to see a continuation of that trend. Deal with someone's point of view on the Realm of Death, the Jailer's actions, and the other expansions that are going to be part of this book. If that is the case, then I wonder what you can really do with the information inside of it, but If not, if they are going to say that this one is Word of God again, then how would they possibly sell that? Considering the original 3, they were also sold with the idea of Word of God with cleaning up the lore, and then later they changed their mind and made it a point of view. Curious to see how Chronicles is going to go. All the same, I'm gonna dive headfirst into it and cover all the bits. Same with other books that are coming up. From the Shadowlands, the story moved into Dragonflight, and while we'll all have our own opinions on the expansion, personally, I overall enjoyed myself. It had some great heights, like the Blue Dragonflight questline, some great lows, like retaking Gilneas. The pacing was a bit off, but all in all, I enjoyed myself way better than in the previous expansion. Going forward, I'm hoping that we're going to see a bit more of a balance between the emotional hugging moments and the bigger flashy action moments. Like Dragonflight is really heavy on the emotional speeches about coming together. They've really made use of that hugging technology for the cutscenes, but I'm hard pressed to find a moment that made me go like, yeah, this is really epic. A moment which we'll discuss years down the line, be it for its tragedy or its impact, something that sticks in your mind. Like Firak didn't even get a death cinematic, they just plopped down on the ground because we gotta talk about coming together as a family now. I'm hoping going forward that they'll retake that balance, because of course there's a need and room for emotional impact. We've seen that with the beautiful BlizzCon cinematic and Anduin's emotional state. I can't wait to see that further explored, but at the same time, I do hope we'll get moments which blow us away and have everybody on board like, yeah, that was freaking awesome. Time will tell, I suppose, and it's hard to predict. I have had people ask what I think about The War Within, what the story might be, what the quality is going to be like, but at this point, it's like asking me to judge some blank pages. The story is still unwritten, which is always the best time in Warcraft's lore cycle. Speculation can run free. The sky is the limit, but a real answer can't be given until it's out in its full glory. BlizzCon's presentation, with the return of Chris Metzen on stage, it definitely got me hyped. They've got a vision in mind, a sword left behind in Silithus, the Titan's real intentions, a story that they want to tell over the course of 3 expansions, the World Soul Saga. A clear direction for the future, which is nice. It's nice to have an idea as to where they want to go. But it's also very risky, because if people don't enjoy the story direction, well, you're kinda locked in for the foreseeable future. One thing that definitely stood out during BlizzCon was the absence of Steve the Noozer, lead narrative designer, and as I said, Metzen taking the stage again. The rumor mill on the internet started to do its thing, but eventually Steve the Noozer himself came forward during an interview in which he confirmed that he has left Blizzard, not due to conflicts with Metzen, but because of having to return to the office. Then again, seeing how Shadowlands is perceived, I could imagine that there was more at play here. I do appreciate the Noozer standing by his product though. Definitely respect him for showing up for the interview, which he did not have to do. It was interesting to learn the difference in vision compared to execution, and we had a former Blizzard historian post on Reddit the other day give us a glimpse as to how they work together to bring WoW's story from vision in the writing room all the way into the game itself. You got all these little parts that are working together, from historians to quest designers to lead narrative, and all that works together to get it done. That is why I am excited for Metzen's return, but I'm also realistic about it not being a one-person's job. It's a team that needs to come together, and I can't wait to see what they've been cooking. And that's my mentality going forward. For those who've been asking how I've been enjoying the lore of WoW, especially after Shadowlands, I'm going in with a let's see what they got state of mind. The Blizzard that worked on WoW when I got into the game, it's long gone now. But change on its own is not necessarily bad or good. It blows my mind to consider that WoW, it's been going on for 20 years. It's gonna be 20 years old soon. That's not even counting what came before. Some of you that are watching this video right now, you weren't around when we started playing. Some of you exist today because we started playing. How crazy is that, you know? And change, it's part of the process, and you have to decide for yourself if you enjoy the story direction, if you enjoy the game direction or not. They are finally passing on the torch to a new generation within the story, as we've seen at the end of Dragonflight. Thrawn and Malfurion, they pass it on to the daughter Chandris. There are stories coming up about Thrall's kids, Illyria's child, Moira's kid. A new generation is rising up to take over from the old one, and honestly, I think they could have done this a few expansions ago. Take a Khadgar, for example, or a Thrall. Characters that have done so much in the story of Warcraft. Characters that have their arcs, they have their stories. It's okay to retire a character or have him take a spot in the background, like an advisory role, and have new characters rise up. I will say though, a few reactions I saw, they were in the direction of, yeah, you know, it's great to have a new generation rise up, but the new generation sucks, and it's not entirely wrong. It's safe to say that most of us here, we have a fair bit of knowledge when it comes to the story of Warcraft, right? But how many regular players out there have been exposed to the story of Chandris? That is a flaw that Warcraft has dealt with for quite a bit, which is not developing characters in the background while focusing on the ones on the main stage. Others, they just kind of become background dancers for the ones in front, which leaves them in the shadows. So now, pushing them into the spotlight is gonna require quite a bit of storytelling, quite a bit of fast development to get people behind them, to make your audience understand who they are, what they stand for, which is not an impossible task, and again, definitely one that I think is worth doing, but it is going to require a bit of work. Time is going to tell. Right then, I think that will do for a quick update. Get you up to speed as to where mine is at, what people have been asking, what I'm looking forward to. On the channel, content-wise, I will of course be covering all the lore going forwards. Make sure that everybody is aware of what came before, what is going on, update some of the older lore videos, speculate a little bit. I had people ask for a new full story of World of Warcraft, or Warcraft in general, which is coming. I'm just waiting for the Chronicles first to have a better understanding of how they view the story. Once that is out, we're definitely gonna do an update. For those unaware, I also stream at least once a week over the Twitch. I've got an Instagram, Twitter, Blue Sky, Discord, all the things that people have that live on the internet that are linked down below. And yeah, thank you very much for watching, everyone. Can't wait for the busy times to pop off. As always, thank you very much for watching, and until next time, see ya!